Thanks for joining me for the yoga class today. If you have a couple blocks handy, feel free to grab those for the class. As always, just a reminder to do what you feel your body needs today as you're going through this routine, knowing that it can be different depending on the day in terms of how far we want to move into a pose or position and how long we want to hold. And so we really invite you to discover what you're feeling at any given moment as you go through these different yoga routines. We'll start sitting. So finding a comfortable position with your knees crossed, if that works for you. And let's go ahead and close our eyes. And just bring your awareness to your breath initially, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose or mouth. Taking this opportunity to observe your body both physically and mentally. Noticing what's been occupying your thoughts lately. And then also noticing if there are areas that you are taking care of today physically, areas of your body. As you begin to tune into your breath and your body, just notice if there are any other sensations arising from your body, and it does not have to be good or bad. I invite you to notice without judgment. And so maybe you notice pressure on certain areas, like the pressure of your ankles touching the mat. Or maybe you notice a tightness. Maybe a tightness in the front part of the hips, especially if there's a little tightness there, and sometimes that can be difficult to sit cross-legged in this position. Just taking that opportunity to tune in to the whole body and without judgment, observing sensations. Allowing the brain to connect to the area of the body where you're feeling those sensations. And then from here, let's gradually open our eyes if they're still closed. And we can take an inhale, just reaching the arms out and overhead as far as they would like to go. Notice stretching perhaps between the shoulder blades. Exhale, arms can come back down. Another couple times there on the inhale, reaching those fingertips up towards the ceiling any amount. Feeling the spine grow and lengthen. Exhale, back down. Last time. Inhale, overhead lift. Exhale, back down. Let's rest the arms on our knees here, moving into a little seated cat and cow. And so rounding the low back and gently curling the neck downward. And then on the inhale now, we're lifting the spine. If it works for your head to tilt it back, you may. Or you can always keep that head a little bit more upright if for various reasons you are not comfortable tilting that head back. On the exhale, then we're rounding the spine again. And on the inhale, we're lifting. One more time each direction. Exhale, rounding. And inhale, lifting. And now finding our neutral spine position again, up tall with the spine. Let's take an inhale, reaching overhead with the arms. A gentle twist now towards the left, and the right arm can reach for the left knee. And let's just pause here. Now we don't have to twist as far as our bodies will allow us. A nice gentle twist. And we're adding some breath here. So as we inhale through the nose, we feel the belly gently press outward and the lower rib cage expand. And the reverse on the exhale. A nice long exhale. One more deep breath here. Belly gently expands, the lower rib cage expands. And exhale. Could be you notice some tightness on the rib, around the rib cage on the height of that inhale. Let's come back overhead with the arms and back to center and then to the other side. Now the left arm reaches the right knee. We're finding length through our spine and repeating our inhalation and exhalation here. In through the nose, belly rises and the lower rib cage expands. On the exhale, the reverse. And now let's come back to middle. Inhale, overhead lift, reach with those fingertips. Exhale, arms can come back down to your knees. Let's find our seated cat and cow a couple times. So rounding the spine and then lifting. Inhale and exhale. Nice work. From here, finding our seated position. Up tall, shrugging the shoulders up to the ears, rolling them back and letting them sink in that down position. So we're teaching the brain, let's go one more time. We're teaching the brain that this is really a tense position for those upper trapezius or neck muscles, and then we allow them to release and shift downward. Now let's take one arm up towards the opposite collarbone here. We're going to do one more little neck stretch. We can just gently rest our hand on the collarbone with a downward sort of a pressure. And now tilt your ear towards your shoulder on the opposite side of where your hand is resting and pulling downward. So hopefully you can get a nice neck stretch in these neck muscles on the front and the side of the neck. Usually it doesn't take much of a tilt and we feel those scalene muscles stretch pretty quick. Here we're breathing, relaxing with the stretch. And then release back to center with your head. Let's swap to the other side. So take the other hand, resting it on that collarbone area just above and over the collarbone. And now same thing, we're taking ear towards shoulder and a little bit towards the back direction to get those neck muscles stretching here. Deep breath in, deep breath out, working to relax as you're stretching. And now we can bring the head back to midline. Let's release the arm and we're going to make our way on towards hands and knees. And so keeping the blocks handy, eventually we can use those if you're in the practice of using blocks. And so finding hands and knees, we spread those hands out nice and wide, almost grip with the fingertips the mat. And we can move into our cat and cow here on the inhale, dropping the navel downward. On the exhale, rounding the spine. Moving in and out of this cat and cow at your own pace with your breath. And so I invite you just to notice how your spine feels. Maybe you're feeling that stiffness in the low back. Maybe it's in the neck. Take your time here to really pinpoint what the neck is feeling like, the middle spine, and the low back. And then we're finding our neutral spine position, our middle spine. From here, we want to draw belly towards the spine with a tightening of those deep abdominal muscles. They're called the transversus abdominis. And we'll take the right leg and reach that leg out behind us, taking care that the hips are staying squared up. The left arm can reach forward with that thumb on the left hand angled up towards the ceiling. And we're breathing and we're holding this. It may feel a little unsteady if this is new for you. And then from here, let's draw arm and leg in and swap to the other side. We can always keep that back leg down with a toe on the ground as an option too. So if it feels a little too unsteady with the leg lifted, feel free to take that variation. And arm and leg can come back in. Let's take knees wide and we'll find our child's pose. So heels together, knees wide. Sitting the hips back towards the heels. Now if we're taking care of shoulders, we can always come down on our forearms here. Or if it feels okay, just reach the fingers out on the mat in front of you for a nice shoulder stretch, allowing the head to rest on the mat. This is a great place to also work on some breathing. And so as you inhale through the nose, imagine an expansion out the back part of both rib cages, the area of the rib cage. So it's kind of like we're expanding out on both sides. At the height of your inhale, perhaps you notice one side feels a little stiffer than the other side. Or maybe they feel equal. So just observing that. And now from here, we're going to slowly rock forward, finding hands and knees again. We can readjust our legs in hand position. We'll tuck our toes, moving into down dog. So pressing up, finding down dog here. Take a moment in this down dog to enjoy a little bit of movement in the legs. So you're pedaling the heels, one and then the other towards the mat, and maybe that feels quite nice on the calf area. And then we're finding stillness here. Knees can stay soft, slightly bent. An inhale and an exhale. Slowly walking the feet towards the hands, bending the knees. When we run out of space, this will allow us to really power through those feet to rise up to stand. Inhale, overhead lift with the arms. And exhale, flowing down again towards the floor. Knees are soft again. Now this is a great place. If that floor feels like it's a little far away, go ahead and grab a block and use that block, because then you can always come down to the block as your height versus the floor. So depending on how things feel for you. And now let's bend the knees and we'll flow up to a chair position. Feeling free to take arms in front or to heart center as an option. And all the way to stand. Inhale, lift. Shimmy the legs together if they're not together. And we can take our hands and interlace them, reaching over for a side bend towards the left. So we're tightening belly muscles. And we're just leaning over to the side. Now let's say this is a little pinchy on our shoulders. If we're taking care of shoulders, feel free to have the hands apart if that works better for you. And back to center. Arms to heart center and we'll flow forward. Inhale, halfway lift, a lengthening through the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Allow the head to relax here. Now we're going to grab hold of the blocks if you have them handy, or you can just plant your hands on either side of your mat. And let's step that right leg back long. We're going to make this transition up to a high lunge here. So we're drawing belly towards spine. We're activating our inner thigh muscles towards each other. And eventually we make our way up to a nice high lunge balanced position. Breath in and breath out. Finding a focal point with your eyes in front of your mat can help with that balance too. And now arms to heart center. Reaching down for the floor or blocks. We'll plant the right arm and then the left arm can lift for a twist. On the inhale, reaching that left arm up. And let's flow with this. On the exhale, we're going to lower that arm back down. One more time. And so inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Good work. Let's go ahead and we're going to step that right leg in to meet the left leg. Soften through the ankles and knees. We'll find chair position. And then all the way to standing. Arms to heart center, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Planting the hands, let's step that left leg back long, and we rise up to standing into this high lunge. Again, take a moment to adjust your foot position if you need to, finding a steady balance here with a focal gaze on a spot just in front of your mat. Tuning into your breath. Allowing the shoulders to relax away from the ears, just in case they were wanting to tense up. And now taking arms to heart center. Let's reach down for the floor or blocks. And we're going to push off that left foot and step that leg in to meet the right leg. Soft through the knees. Let's find our chair position. And all the way to stand. Pausing here, I invite you to breathe in and breathe out, just checking in with your body. Ground your feet on your mat. And then from here, let's move it into balance on our left leg. We're going to lift that right knee in front, holding that balance. Now, if that feels a little too tough, feel free to have that right foot resting on a block as an in-between option. And so wherever you're at with your balance, we'll hold this. Feeling strong through your left leg. And now let's take that right leg and reach it back for the high lunge that we just came from. So reaching that right leg back, we can plant the forefoot or the front part of the foot, taking our arms up to high lunge here. Breath in and breath out. Arms to heart center. And let's reach down towards the floor or blocks. Right hand can plant, left arm lifts for the twist. And untwist. And again. And untwist. Good work. Planting that left arm. I think we forgot the twist on the other side. We'll do extra on the other side. So pressing into that right leg, draw it in to meet the left. Let's bend the ankles and knees, rising through our chair position. And all the way to stand. Breath in, breath out. And now we're rooting through the right foot, lifting the left knee. And you can either place that foot on the block or keep the knee lifted in front. And now from here, we're reaching the left leg back long for that lunge position. Finding high lunge. And arms to heart center. We're reaching down towards the blocks. This is the one we missed on the other side, or on this side the first time through. So left hand down, let's take an inhale and lift with that right arm. Untwist, exhale. And again, inhale, lift. Exhale, back down. Like I said, we'll do a couple extra here since I forgot the first time around. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower, last time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And then we can plant both hands here. We'll prepare to push off that back leg, bring it on in to meet the front leg. Take a moment, let the head relax, and then bend ankles and knees. We are powering through our feet to press us all the way to standing. Inhale, overhead lift. Exhale, back down. Taking a pause, let's breathe in and out. Notice your body. And now rooting through the left leg. We're going to lift the right knee in front again, finding a balance. Your choice if you want to put that foot on a block, absolutely an option. And now let's reach the back leg or the right leg back, finding our high lunge. Arms to heart center. We'll reach down for blocks or floor. Right hand can plant, left arm lifts for the twist. Inhale, reach. Exhale, back down. All right, this is where things start to change a little bit. So what we're gonna do, and if you wanna take your block with you, you can. We're gonna walk our hands in front and pivot around towards the right foot. And we're gonna bend that right knee to find a Skandasana or a modified form of that. And so this is where it could be handy to keep that block here. You're feeling that inner thigh stretch on the left side, and you're supporting yourself through your hands a little bit to take the pressure, a little pressure off that right knee. Now, if you feel like you have more movement and flexibility available, feel free, you can go all the way down. You can pull that left ankle up. We can take arms to heart center here. And so if you're finding more flexibility, if this is part of your practice, feel free to take the variation that works for you. And then from here, we're walking our way back towards that left leg. So we pivot back around, and then we're gonna step off that right leg and bring it on in to meet the left leg. Soft through the knees. Let's rise to stand. Inhale, overhead lift. Exhale, arms to heart center. Rooting through your right foot. We're gonna lift that left leg for our choice of balance. And now we're reaching the left leg back long for our high lunge. Arms to heart center. We're reaching down for floor or blocks. Left hand can plant. Right arm lifts for the twist. And untwist. And now this is where we're walking our hands now, pivoting around towards our left leg. Our left knee is going to bend. We can stay supported through our arms, and we're feeling that inner stretch on the left side, or excuse me, on the right inner thigh. Our hands are taking pressure through here so that our left knee doesn't get quite as much pressure. And again, option to go all the way down here, depending on your mobility and what's available. Now from here, we're walking our way back around towards the right leg, shifting on around. And then we're gonna give a good push off that left leg in to meet the right leg, soft through the knees. Let's rise up to standing. Inhale, overhead lift. Exhale, arms to heart center. Taking a pause here, breath in, breath out. Notice your body. Allow your neck and shoulders to relax. Feel your feet grounded on the mat, all four corners of each foot. And now from here, rooting through your left leg, we're gonna step that right leg back for warrior one. Finding the back heel down, toes are out a bit. Arms can be at heart center or overhead. Let's just find a couple breaths here. Feeling strong through your front knee. And long through your back thigh. And then let's open up to warrior two. So we're gonna swivel around towards the right. The right toes are facing the long edge of the mat. Left toes are tracking in line with your thigh. So if you look down and you see where your thigh angle is, we want the toes and the foot to kind of be along that same trajectory there. So finding a stable upright position here for warrior two. Letting the shoulders sink away from the ears, pressing that left thigh outward. Engaging through your right glute muscle, your rear muscle. Let's reverse the warrior, right arm down, left arm lifts. And now back around to find warrior two and shifting into our side angle. So left elbow towards thigh, right arm can reach tall. Option here, again, depending on shoulder mobility and trunk mobility, to let that arm go a little further if it wants to, as long as we're not compensating by shifting forward with the hips going behind you. So we want to try and keep this in this kind of planar sideways movement here. And now pressing back up, let's find warrior two. Arms to heart center. We're gonna lift that right heel, pivot back around to face the front, reach down now for the floor, lower the back knee, and we're gonna make our way to a half kneel position. So right knee is down, left knee is in front. From here, adding a little tailbone tuck so that we're finding stability through our core, our hips, and our pelvis. Taking an inhale, overhead lift. And a gentle twist towards your left so that the right hand can reach the left knee or towards that left knee. Here we're breathing again. Inhale, overhead reach. Exhale, arms to heart center. Reaching down for floor or blocks. Let's take that left knee and tuck it underneath. And then from here, we'll make our way back to down dog, tucking the toes, pressing up. Inhale, exhale. Walking the feet towards the hands, bending the knees as we get closer. And then let's rise through chair position and all the way to stand. Breath in, breath out, regrounding, recentering. Rooting now through the right leg. We're gonna step the left leg back for warrior one. And we'll find that warrior one on this side. Back heel down, back toes are out a little bit. Breath in, breath out. Feeling strength through your legs and feeling length through your spine here. A nice place now to open up to warrior two. So we'll swivel towards your left. Right knee is pressing outward. Now, if you take a peek down at your right thigh, you want your foot in alignment with the angle of your thigh. So we're finding length here. Length through the fingertips, length through the spine, and breathing. Let's reverse the warrior. Left arm down, right arm lifts. And now back through warrior two. Moving into our side angle, right elbow towards thigh, left arm reaches upward, opening with that gentle rotation through the rib cage. Option again, depending on mobility, to take that arm a little further if that works for your body without having to compensate and lean the hips back and the arm forward. So again, we want to stay in that kind of side planar motion. And then back up through to warrior two. arms to heart center. Lift the left heel. We're going to pivot back around now to face the right leg. Face the front of the mat, reaching down for blocks or floor. We'll take that back knee down. We can always bring the front foot a little closer. Coming up to our half kneel position, tucking the tailbone a little bit. And now we're twisting towards the right. So that left arm can reach for that right knee. And we're breathing here. And now we're reaching back overhead with the arms back to midline. And exhale, reaching down for floor or blocks. Now we're going to help that right leg underneath us. And this time, instead of coming up through our down dog, we're going to make our way into a child's pose, knees coming wide. Sitting the hips back and taking 2 or 3 deep breaths here with the head resting on the mat. And then from here, slowly rolling forward back to our hands and knees position. And then we're going to make our way into a seated position. So finding a seated position with your right leg out to the side, your left leg tucked in. And we'll find some length through the spine. If you find that you're quite tight through the hips or your hamstrings, it might feel better to sit on a small cushion or a folded up towel or something here too. So feel free to experiment with that. We're reaching the right arm down towards that right leg. Left arm can just gently rest on that left thigh or reach it up and around. And now we're taking that left arm back around if it was reaching and plant it on the ground. Now we're going to come up onto that left knee. So you can use your hands, kind of give yourself a little lift. Come up onto that left knee and the left hand, bringing the hips forward. Just reach that right arm up and over. Should feel a nice stretch somewhere down that right side of your body, maybe even down the leg here or into the back part of the shoulder. And then we can sit back down and we're going to swap legs. So left leg comes out, right leg tucks in. Finding length again through your spine and upright posture. Left arm reaches down, right arm can rest or lift it over towards that left leg. And now we're bringing that arm back on around. Right arm can plant. We're going to come up onto that right knee. Left arm up for the stretch. And back down. Then let's go ahead and bring that left leg in. We're going to make our way onto our back here. And so just eventually meeting on our back. We can, with knees bent, take a gentle side-to-side rocking movement just to release any tension in your low back. And now from here, keeping your feet and knees hip distance apart, let's take the arms out to the sides with the palms up, and we can let the knees fall towards the right. And so we just kind of let those knees go towards the right, wherever they want to stop. We can rest there. A great place here to work on our breathing. On the inhale, feeling the rise of the belly and an expansion of the lower rib cage outward. And now bringing your knees back towards midline and over towards the other side. And then back towards midline, taking our butterfly stretch here, feet together, knees wide. If we're having any discomfort in our back with this, feel free to just gently press the small of your back down towards the mat a little bit, and usually that relieves any back discomfort. We're allowing our neck to relax here, tuning into our breath again. Drawing your knees then towards each other. Let's take the right leg out straight, and we can hug that left knee in towards the chest. And maybe it feels good to angle the left knee towards the right shoulder. So right hand can kind of give that left knee a bit of a pull. And if you want to take this into a full spinal twist, that's fine. You can pause here, or you can keep going. So left arm reaches out to the side, and if you enjoy that nice stretch, just pull that leg over as far as it would like to go to feel a comfortable, gentle stretch around the outer hip and maybe into that low back. And then back to middle. We're gonna swap to the other side. I feel like we could hold those stretches for a long period of time. And so maybe that's a class that we do another time, is just a lengthy, stretchy class. Let's take that right knee in, pull it towards the left shoulder. Now again, maybe we choose to only take that knee over across the body part way to really feel that stretch in the outer hip muscles, or if we want to get the stretch a little further up, we can certainly take it into more of that rotation, more of that spinal twist. Your choice. And then we're slowly making our way back to middle. Let's hug both knees in towards the chest here. Curl them in. Maybe we're taking a little side to side rock for that low back. And then we can give ourselves permission to move into a moment of Shavasana, bringing our awareness back to our breath and noticing how our body feels. And so planting our feet, we can either keep knees bent or have them straight. Either way, whatever feels best on your low back. And bring your awareness back to your breath now. On the inhale, noticing the rise of the belly, and on the exhale, noticing perhaps a relaxation of the body in various areas. And I invite you to take your time with this breathing and make your way through a body scan from your head down your spine, the upper arms, and into the legs then. And in your own time, just notice, and you can feel free to pause the video then, but give yourself permission to do this for another 5 minutes or so. And gradually work your way down the body, telling yourself to relax and release. Some of our main areas that we need reminding include the facial muscles, the jaw, the neck, the shoulders. Letting the arms feel heavy, releasing through the low back, the hips, and the legs. And so as you stop this video and then continue for a few more minutes on your own with your relaxation. I thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.